I'm going to start with a question that I get asked a million times every day. What miner should I buy? And if you add this number and cross the T and look at this calculator and profitability, yes, this is a very difficult question to answer. And what I found is it's not the first question you should be asking, but it's actually the last question you should be asking. The first questions you should be asking are questions to know and understand your situation. Let's start with budget. Budget is a very important factor into what miner you should buy. If you only have a budget of a couple of $100s, well then you're very limited to what miners that you can buy. Maybe some used S9s or maybe some Litecoin miners. But you're definitely not going to buy the newest miners that are out there. So determine a reasonable budget that you can afford. Understand your situation. Miners need a lot of power. I often ask people, how much are your electricity costs? And they come back to me with outrageous answers like, it's free. My landlord pays it all. I live in an apartment. It's really important to understand that residential power is not going to power a lot of miners. And even if you can make it work for the newer generation miners, I'm pretty sure your landlord is going to be very upset with you when his power bill comes to him. So it's very important to understand your situation and be realistic about it. Consider your options and set reasonable goals. Again, if you have free power at your apartment, I think it's wonderful. If you have it at your business, that's great. But it's not going to be reasonable to mine with. And keep in mind that it may be free for 1 month, but when the bill comes in, I'm pretty sure they're going to expect you to make up the difference. And last but not least, always have a plan B. Be dynamic and flexible. Be prepared for the market to go up or down and understand what you can do in both of those situations. Don't ever put yourself into a locked situation where you don't have options. You only have obligations. So that being said, there are two main things to consider after you know how much you have to spend with your budget. Power versus hosting. Obviously, these miners can't just sit in your living room mining all day. I mean, they can, and some people do that, but it's a very hot living room, and it's a very uncomfortable and noisy place to live in. So if you're one of those lucky people that have your own power or access to energy sources, here are some things to consider. One is, what is my all-in power costs? And how much power can I use today and tomorrow? I come across a lot of people who have their own power, but they only have 1 or 2 megawatts available right now, today, but have the potential to do 5, 10, 20, even 50 megawatts tomorrow. And if you have that capability, another thing to consider is, what is the cost to build out the infrastructure? What is the CapEx? Do you have transformers in place ready to go? Do you have the panels? Is everything ready to be hooked up? You just need approval? Or do you have to start from the ground and work your way up? It's very important to know. For the rest of us that don't have the luxury of our own power costs, something to really consider is hosting. And what type of hosting do I want? Do I want managed hosting, where the hosting facility takes care of everything for me, reboots, cleaning, maintenance, repairs? Or do I want unmanaged hosting, where I assume all those responsibilities and take care of everything remotely? Another thing to consider is, what is the capacity of the hosting facility? It really sucks when you buy 20 or 30 miners and then place another order of 20 or 30 miners only to find out they don't have room anymore. And last thing to consider is, what is my all-in hosting cost? So, in summary, what miner should I buy is not an easy question to answer. Every situation is unique, and there's not one answer that always works. Knowing your circumstances will empower you to make an informed choice that's a right fit for you. Be safe and always do business with trusted vendors. Thanks for watching.